Hi, I'm Ben Murdoch, the Songwriter Coach. So, nearly a week has gone by since I finished the 14-day lyric writing challenge, and that was all about getting us songwriters writing and keeping busy during isolation. If you haven't seen it or tried it yet, then use the link to get to it, and I'll put one in the description as well. Okay, so today we're going to look at a completely new technique, and I'm going to call it painting a fairy tale picture. Now, this isn't just about basic imagery, it's more about storytelling. So during the 14-day challenge, we looked quite a bit at storytelling, and I wanted at the time to dive in deeper, but of course I needed to cover more areas as well, so we couldn't spend too long on it. Now I want to dive in deeper into one element of story writing, which I think is really important. It's this ability as a writer to paint a picture for the listener. So why do we need to do this in the first place? Well, we already know that if we trigger a response in the listener by using sensory language, the song's going to be stronger, more convincing, and more memorable. Now, I covered that in this video, which is worth a watch if you want to learn more about using your senses to make great lyrics. So if we paint a picture using our words, which transports the listener to the scene, we've succeeded in something which is really powerful and also quite difficult. A TV show or a movie can do this visually. We see exactly what the director wants us to see. Even then though, a musical score is almost always overlaid to elevate the scene. The music is another way of telling the viewer what they're seeing. From those scratchy staccato strings in a tense horror film to the pounding drums and horns of a superhero defeating their foe. The music is informing us what to think and what to feel. With a song, we have that music, and then as lyricists we have to create the scene using words alone with no visual cues whatsoever. And if you remember from this video, I said that the brain is more of an image processor than a word processor. It processes images much more easily and much more regularly. So we're kind of at a disadvantage straight off the bat when compared to other art forms which use visuals. Yet music, and specifically songs with lyrics, are one of the most accessed and loved art forms out there. So clearly many writers are doing something right. Why is this? Let's look at it a different way. I know that when I read a book, I tend to find the sense of involvement with that book is deeper and greater than if I watch a movie. And if I watch the movie of a book that I've already read, I generally find that I enjoy the book much more. And it's still the same if I watch the movie first, then read the book. The order doesn't seem to matter. I really think there's something in this. I also think it's why we have such enduring relationships with certain songs that we fall in love with. I think it's because our brain had to work that much harder to process the words and create images from those words than if the story had been delivered to us via a screen. And I think that leaves a bigger imprint or effect. Okay, that might be controversial, and I hope I'm not offending any filmmakers in saying that. I love movies as an art form too, of course. But my interest and passion is in songwriting and kind of decoding the elements of the art form. So let's look at this in action with a commercial song. Let's look at how the Beatles approached it in their song Maxwell's Silver Hammer. Now, this song isn't about real life, so Lennon and McCartney found their inspiration for it in other places. I did a video of how to find and where to find inspiration in other places, which you can watch here. So, Maxwell's Silver Hammer. Behind its plucky and simple melody is the story of a serial killer when you really boil it down. Now that's pretty dark. That's dark material to be working with, and the music seems entirely contrary to that subject. But going back to movies, there are those black humour or gallows humour films which use this technique brilliantly and quite a lot. There are plenty of violent horror comedies out there, and they're really good, they work. So Maxwell's Silver Hammer is a kind of black comedy song. It paints a picture by using real characters, a total of 7 characters in all, which is quite a lot for a song. We find out the professions of 5 of those characters in the song. We have a judge, a policeman, a teacher, a student, and of course a serial killing medical student. Perfect. Lennon and McCartney managed to get some good or great character development information into such a short song. So there's Maxwell and 6 other characters. Of those 6, he kills 3 of them by bludgeoning them to death with a silver hammer. Rose and Valerie escaped death because they called for his freedom in court. And the policeman survived too, I think, because the judge became just a bigger target on the day in court. Now, if you don't know the song, I've been going on for a while. Maybe go back, give it a listen, look it up on YouTube, find the lyrics. It's really worth a go, but I'm sure a lot of you will know this song. It's super famous. Everything seems to paint a picture in this song. It's a silver hammer he uses as a weapon. That's a great image. He's kept back in class to write lines by the teacher. Another great visual. And he has this habit of creeping up behind his victims before he kills them. Brilliant. The whole song plays as a little movie inside my head. It's made up of scenes which make up a great and quite surprising story, to be honest. This visualization which happens in the listener is because the song lyrics are so well developed. The story and the imagery is strong. They use sensory language using sight, sound and movement really effectively. A great way to write like this is to first see what you're writing. You need to see it yourself. And once you've seen it, you've seen how the story plays out in your imagine, then you can scene it out. Literally by that, I mean you can write down the story scene by scene and develop a really strong story and of course a strong song. Now sometimes trying to visualize a story can be hard. We can do some sensory writing to get some great raw material, which I covered in the 14-day challenge, or we can try the Fairytale Technique. Yes, I did say fairy tale. Now, fairy tales are often stories which stick with us forever. They keep getting adapted and remade into movies and plays all the time. So why is that? It's probably because they are great stories which we have a deep affection for. So the Fairytale Technique is a really simple way to get you started in writing a great story. Begin by writing the famous words "once upon a time" and then write your story. You need to think of these things when you're writing it because they can really help you visualize the story. First of all, remember you need to see it before you've seen it and write it all down. So these are the things. Number one, who is the fairy tale about? A fairy tale always has a hero or heroine. It's Maxwell in Maxwell's Silver Hammer, although he's a kind of anti-hero. But when you think about it, every character is the hero of their own story, even the evil characters. Number two, who or what is the enemy? Now this could be a person or an obstacle of some sort, like depression or poverty, just a thing that is an obstacle in the way. Number three, how is the enemy a problem? We as listeners relate when we know there is an element of peril or difficulty associated with what the hero is going to have to do. Number four, how is the enemy overcome? Tell the story. Maybe the hero doesn't overcome and loses. Number five, is there a moral message to consider here, as many fairy tales do use this? Your song, though, doesn't need to have a moral message. Number six, the ending. Is it happy? Is it sad? Is it unresolved? With Maxwell's Silver Hammer, he kills the judge, but what we don't know is what he does then. Does he escape? So finish your writing with the classic, and they all lived... ... So I've left this blank because it's over to you. It may not be a happy ending, but write down something as it points to what happened as a result of the events of the story. So that technique has quite a few elements to it. If you need to see all this written down, then head to my website, which is thesongwritercoach.com, and you'll find all of the information there. Now, there are plenty of other songs which do great jobs of painting a picture. If you want to take a look at a couple of them, I would look at 7 Years by Lucas Graham, or one of my favourites, Hazard by Richard Marx. There really are plenty of examples out there, to be honest, but I had to get Richard Marx into a video as he is the inspiration and reason that I became a songwriter all those years ago. So Richard, if you ever do watch this, thank you. And thank you everyone for watching. If you've enjoyed this video, please hit like, and I'd love it if you'd share it. And of course, I'd love it even more if you would subscribe. And you can do that by clicking down here. So everyone, keep writing great songs, and I'll see you back here for the next episode.